Hello everyone, my name is Liquid Jester, and today I'll be going over the main character of the RPG Maker game Off, named the Batter. I'll be going over his strength, speed, and durability, as well as his hexes, his standard equipment as well, and so without further ado, let's get to it. The Batter is the designated player main character. His goal throughout the game is to purify the world from the specters, as well as any threats that he believes is evil. Let's get all the basic stuff out of the way. He's able to interact with, as well as harm and kill, specters, who are later revealed to be the souls or ghosts of the people that used to live in the world. He can attack speech bubbles and words, including kanji.
Ah yes, the weeaboos, back at it again.
He also has attacks that are imbued with the four main elements that make up the Off universe. These elements are meat, smoke, plastic, and metal. He can use each element via the run with attacks, such as grace, dementia, belief, and courage. He can also revive and heal himself and allies via the save base skills. He also has extrasensory perception, as when he first entered a room, he could already detect that the specters were around him even before they physically appeared. Information analysis via wide angle, which allows him to analyze an enemy's characteristics, their weaknesses, and their resistances. Now moving on to his equipment, he has access to his traditional bat, and he also has access to 3 floating rings called add-ons. The add-ons can also harm and kill specters, and can also be imbued with purification. More on that later. But each one has their own unique sets of abilities as well. The first add-on Alpha has every status effect in the game. These include Poison, Blind, Mute, and Palsy. Omega has access to competencies specifically to remove or cure status effects in the game. He can also ignore enemy defenses via photographic blur. Omega can reduce an opponent's competency or power via Gaussian blur, and also decrease an opponent's defenses via radical blur. Epsilon has access to competencies that can increase the stats of himself and his allies, including their attack, their defense, and their agility. And now, it's finally time to talk about his most powerful ability, purification. Being the physical embodiment of purification, he has access to many broken abilities that are associated with it, including conceptual manipulation, existence erasure, non-existence erasure, text erasure, and information erasure. He can harm and kill abstract specters. Purification of the zones erase all prior information about the areas, replacing them with question marks, along with books, signs, and posters becoming unreadable. All the specters, the color, and everything else is gone. The Zone Guardian Enoch even confirms that upon purifying the zones, all of the inhabitants fall into nothingness. Purification is stated to be the power to return everything to nothingness. He can even erase non-existent enemies like the Secretaries, enemies that inhabit the purified zones. Now moving on to AP and durability, he can damage and defeat the 3 Zone Guardians, Dadan, Japhet, and Enoch, with each drawing power from the Queen to create their respective zones, with each zone being stated to be a country. Each Guardian sustains their respective zone with their very existence, and if they die, the zone and everything in them get erased and returned to nothingness. A calc was made that got the destruction of each country at planet level due to how fast each one gets erased after the Guardians were defeated. He later defeats the Queen, who partially sustains the room, a logic-defying place which contains the world's sun, and at least 2 alternative versions of the room which also contain a sun, which take the form of 3 loading files, which also have the room and should logically have a sun in there as well. Now moving on to speed, while his speed is not something to write home about, he does have one good feat of climbing up a chimney in about 16.19 seconds. After climbing at the top of the chimney, he then participates in a mini game where he falls down all the way to the bottom, which in game takes about a minute and 30 seconds, giving him a speed of 281.45 miles a second. To recap, the batter has planetary to star to multi-star level AP and durability, subsonic plus speeds, and a wide variety of very useful and very powerful hexes, especially his purification. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.